Welcome everyone to a new episode of Efficio's Transforming Public Procurement Microcast series, where we're helping you to better understand key elements of the new Procurement Act legislation. I'm Charles Holland and I sit within Efficio's public sector practice. I'll be your new host for the next 10 episodes, and today I'm joined by one of our consultants, Simon Zeffertt, to talk through how poor supplier performance and breach of contract are managed under the new Act. Welcome, Simon. So firstly, could you distinguish for our viewers the difference between breach of contract versus poor performance?
Yeah, hi, Charles. Thanks very much and great to be on the series. So the Act has introduced performance measures that are essentially intended to capture and protect contracting authorities from the most serious and persistent failures in contract delivery. So breach of contract is where a supplier fails to meet one or more key terms agreed on contract award, which is generally deemed serious enough or material so that the contract can't be delivered as agreed.
Okay, great. That's clear. Do you have some examples of that?
Yeah, so breach of contract examples could be refusing to deliver contractual obligations, but there's also other areas. So it could be non-compliance with a key contract term, like the renewal of an insurance policy, or if the supplier is failing to adhere to a joint investment agreement linked to contract delivery. Now, poor performance, on the other hand, is where a supplier fails to meet one or more key terms agreed on contract award, which is generally serious enough so that the contract cannot be delivered as agreed. So some examples of what that might look like are failure to meet one or more KPIs over a period exceeding 3 months, but it could also be poor feedback from service users, especially where that's integral to the contract performance, or also poor account management that leads to a frequent need to escalate issues.
Okay, great. Really helpful to sort of hear some of those examples and understand those differences. So how does the Act help to manage poor performance?
Yes, there's definitely a few things that we can call out here. Firstly, the Act now requires you to publish a contract performance notice in the event of breach of contract or poor performance in a contract, and that has to be done within 30 days of the event happening. Also, in line with the theme of increased transparency, the notice should increase accountability and visibility, which should act as a deterrent towards poor performance. And if the breach or poor performance results in the termination of the contract in full, then a contract termination notice also needs to be completed.
Okay, great. And what about KPIs?
Yeah, so KPIs are also mandatory under the Act for most contracts over £5 million. So a minimum of 3 KPIs should be set and published as part of the contract details notice. And contracting authorities should agree the criteria and frequency with which KPIs will be measured and published. And KPI reporting, can also help in identifying gaps between contractual obligations and actual delivery. So low scores can also be used as a mechanism to trigger contract improvement measures and can help signpost you towards the performance areas most in need of change. It's also worth mentioning, actually, that in the event of poor performance, you do always need to first provide the supplier with a proper opportunity to improve, and that has to be in the form of contractual measures.
Okay, thanks, Simon. That's really interesting. And lastly, if I imagine that I'm a public sector contract manager, maybe in a government commercial function, what can I be doing to improve performance management?
Yeah, so there's probably 3 things to take away here. So firstly, agreeing KPIs with your supplier, regardless of the contract value, and to make sure you measure those regularly to help identify potential issues, especially at an early stage. Secondly, to set clear performance expectations through the tender notice, documents, and the contract. And then thirdly, to agree in the contract your escalation and performance improvement or other similar measures in the event of poor performance, and to define in the contract what the trigger point actually is to constitute poor performance.
Okay, thanks, Simon. That was a really useful overview into how to manage poor supplier performance under the new regulations. I hope everyone has enjoyed today's microcast. Please do post any thoughts or questions you have in the comments. And also get in touch through our Procurement Act landing page, which is linked above. I hope we'll see you again on the next episode.